Hello and welcome to BitBoy Crypto. I am your host, BitBoy. Today, we're going to be talking about the markets, Ethereum, ETFs, Facebook, Stellar, all kinds of stuff. But before we do, make sure you're a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so you get to become a member of the Bit Squad. That's what we call our community. We're also giving away $500 in Bitcoin. You want to enter that contest, all you got to do, like this video, comment on this video, also do it on some more videos. You can get the full description of the contest down below. All right, guys, today is a big day for a lot of reasons for the channel. Reason number one, we hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you to the Bit Squad. Big shout out to everyone who's been liking and sharing our content. We appreciate it so much. We've been really blowing up big the last couple of days. We got a shout out on Crypto Love's video. Maybe you guys came to our channel from that video that he posted a couple of days ago. So big shout out to Crypto Love. Big shout out to all the people that have helped me get from 0 to 2,000 much quicker than most channels. And we certainly value our community. Number two, let me turn off my green screen. This is my box, guys. This is my box. I created this box, as you can see. It's got sound panels in it. It's got a curtain. It's got some lights in it, the whole 9 yards. And this is the last video I will be recording in the box. As you guys know, I have left my job and we are going full-time crypto here in my household. And we're very excited about it, but one thing we are doing is we are selling our house, and you guys are going to get to come along with us in that journey. It's going to be really fun, but because of that, you know, people are going to think this is a real strange device used for strange purposes if they come in to look at the house, and I've got a giant box in it. So because of that, we got to take down the box, so I'm pretty upset about it. I did love this thing a lot, but I did learn a lot of things in here. Number one, I got to get a better green screen that doesn't have some shadows on it. As you guys can see, sometimes my head's doing crazy stuff in the videos. So in the meantime, I'm going to be trying some different things, maybe put a different kind of green screen behind me. And then when I get to the new house, we will obviously get a nice setup going on. I would like to stand up instead of sitting down and things like that, but you know, the content isn't going to change of our videos, but I want to make it higher quality. So you guys be on the lookout for that. But once again, big shout out to everybody for helping me get to 2,000 subs. And, you know, you guys were with me when I was in the box. You guys can always remember that when we get up over 100,000 subscribers. So, okay, guys, I've talked a long time about nothing to do with crypto. So let's jump in. Or someone told me not to say jump in. I don't know who says that, but they don't like it. So let's move to the markets. So the markets today are not good. It's $204 billion. Bitcoin dominance continuing to rise at 53%, which may not be a terrible thing. If we look at Bitcoin right now, it's sitting at 6,300. It has dumped a little bit, about 1%. And then other things have dropped quite a bit more. So if we look at Ethereum at number 2, it is really struggling. We're going to talk about that in a second. Biggest winners of the day, pretty much only Metaverse, the only thing that's up over 1%. And then if we look at biggest losers, VeChain, OneChain, Zilliqa, Dropple, Wax, KuCoin. These are all down over 15%. So many of these are. It is not a good chart. Altcoins are getting bloodied and battered right now. So let's talk about Ethereum, and this is something that is very interesting to me, which is Ethereum is now down 100% over since this time last year. And what I mean by that is that Ethereum has now effectively erased 100% of its year-over-year growth and is down 78% from its all-time high of 1337. According to CoinDesk price data, Ether was trading at $289 exactly 1 year ago. As we saw in CoinMarketCap, it is currently at $285.67, which sucks. Not a big fan of that number, but we're getting into some very interesting territory. And obviously when I said it's down over 100%, not from the all-time high, but the year-to-year growth, it is down over 100% from where it was this time last year. Last year was at 289. This year is at 285 right now on the same day. And a lot of these altcoins are starting to creep into pre-bull run prices. And it is very concerning. I know that I've said this before, that it was going to be very interesting when we start getting into the territory where we are now, where our gains have been completely erased, like they never happened. So unfortunately, Ethereum is being hit extra hard right now. I'm not sure exactly why. It seems to be getting hit harder than anything else in the top 10. I believe it's a great project. I believe it will stay at number 2. But, I think this might mean some bear action. It's almost like the bull run never existed last year. So because of that, you've got a lot of people who've been completely burned during this process. And it's going to take a lot for them to come back to crypto. And the institutional money is great, but in my opinion, I believe we do need retail investors. So I think that this is something to monitor to see how much further down we can possibly go, because the market cap the Bitcoin cap is not necessarily dropping, but the altcoin cap and the overall market cap is dropping considerably, which is why we're seeing the rise in the Bitcoin dominance. But just be very interesting to see where this kind of leads us. So let's look at the Winklevoss twins. They are continuing to move forward despite SEC Bitcoin ETF decision. They're continuing to grow their project Gemini. And why do I bring this up? I mean, to me, this is kind of obvious. Like, what do we think they were going to do? Quit? That was already, I think, the 4th or 5th time they had tried for their ETF and gotten denied. So the Winklevoss twins are smart. They know the future of crypto. They say that one thing they were quoted in this article is saying is that institutional money and stock market money is coming in slower. And that's the way that it probably should be for it to kind of ease in. And it seems to be slower to adopt than your hardcore retail investor. But at the same time, they know while this is a slow process, they know the future. And so what they're doing is they're working on right now. So that's what I encourage you to do. Use this time that we're in this bear market to learn about crypto, to learn about different projects, to figure out what makes a solid project, because you could follow what they're doing and also be successful. I'm not saying you're going to be a billionaire. So let's talk about the ETF for a minute, because this seems to be a very hot topic. Everyone is making a video about why we don't need an ETF and things like that. So here is the question. In crypto, do we need an ETF? No, we don't. We don't need an ETF. Will it be super helpful? Yes, it will be super helpful. But is I was speaking with someone this week, and we were talking about the ETF, and they made this great point, which is we didn't have one last year, and it's true. We didn't have one last year. Now, the market was a little overextended and things like that. Something like an ETF could have brought more stable money in, but we did not need the ETF to go to $20,000. So I'm going to say the question again. Do we need an ETF? No. Do we need something to be a catalyst to turn the market around? Yes. Could that something be the ETF? Absolutely. I believe it's the most likely candidate to turn the market around. I don't think that the ETF on its own or in a vacuum is going to be the thing that's going to push cryptocurrency to the next level. However, anything that is going to be a huge catalyst, that is going to bring more fresh money, fresh interest, a fresh look at cryptocurrency is going to be good. So I think that we don't need it specifically, but we need something, and it's the most likely candidate to turn the market around. Now, on the other side of that, if we do get a denial in September, or we get another delay, then that is going to push the price down even more. So there could be something else that comes out, whether it could be news about Facebook, maybe they come out with their own cryptocurrency or have a partnership or buy Coinbase. That could be also a very likely candidate to turn the markets around in between now and February. I've been on record as saying I believe Facebook will buy Coinbase by the end of next year, but it could be sooner. So speaking of Facebook, there's been a big story going around about how they have partnered with Stellar, and they basically came out and said that that is not true. They said that they are not building a project on the Stellar blockchain. Now, it would not be uncommon for Stellar to work with a social media giant, as Kin, a messaging app cryptocurrency from Kik, is the social media messaging app that Kin is associated with, is actually on a fork of Stellar. So it wouldn't be out of the question. However, I think the interesting thing about this is that they came out and hardcore denied a partnership, but this all kind of lines up with my Coinbase Facebook conspiracy theory, which is they could be having, because they have had meetings with Stellar. That is a fact. Recently, Facebook has been meeting with Stellar. So why? Well, if Facebook is going to be buying Coinbase, then they probably want to be getting a look at some of the projects that are going to be going on in the future or that Coinbase is already committed to exploring. So this could be another clue as to Facebook's plan. They've been very secretive about this meeting. So obviously they don't want to come out and say that they're going to be buying Coinbase right now or that they're interested in it because of the flurry that it would ignite and the questions that people would have about it. But it is very interesting to watch this story develop. So once again, you guys keep your eye on Facebook. It is going to be a huge player in the crypto game, whether we like it or not. Who knows? Anybody can change, right? Hey, Zuckerberg, come on over to the decentralized side. It's better over here. So a report came out about ICOs, and this was a report you can actually get from the link down below. They have a link to the full report, but the long and the short of it is two things that I wanted to bring up. Number one, that $8 billion is the total funding raised over 827 projects in quarter two. However, over half of those funds were, well, almost exactly half of them actually were raised by EOS. Some people call it EOS, some people call it EOS. I call it EOS. They haven't actually given us a specific way to pronounce it yet. So and I think that's part, if you like EOS, that's one thing about them. They allow their people to kind of interpret what it is. But, I don't like the way that they did their ICO, but they did raise a heck of a lot of money. So very interesting that over half of the funds raised in quarter two by ICOs were raised by EOS. Now, another interesting thing that came out of this report that you actually have to get into the full report to see is that the average ROI right now for ICOs from quarter two is negative 58%. So everyone's down. Everyone's feeling the crunch right now. ICOs are feeling it. Projects are feeling it, cryptos are feeling it, investors are feeling it. And if you remember watching our interview with Andre from 1 Minute Economics, probably the biggest thing that I took out of that was that he said, and I never really thought about this, that the way the markets operate are by causing as much pain as possible to the buyer and to the seller and pinning them down to a place that shakes out people from their positions one way or the other. So just very interesting because we certainly are feeling that right now. There's not a lot of optimism in the markets. The only thing everybody's kind of holding on to is that thought of an ETF coming in September. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But, these ICOs have not been doing great, but yet we just continue to see more and more come out. So definitely something to watch. Last story, this was from yesterday when the price was closer to $6,500 as to $6,300. But the news is that Tether issued $50 million worth of Tether grants, and that probably caused a little gain in the market, as it always does. But, $50 million is not nearly as much as they usually are printing. Sometimes they printed $300 million. So I don't know if that is a sign of kind of where we are in the markets or if they just need a little bump. But Tether is something I would stay away from personally. I've advised you guys many times. They have came out and said from a law firm that they do have actually one Tether for every $1 US in their bank account. The interesting thing is a lot of people think that they didn't last year, but that what they did last year is basically they manipulated the market, caused it to go up a lot. They made a lot of money, and from that money, they were able to actually put it into their bank account and back the Tether. So very interesting, but the main thing here is it's a sketchy company. Bitfinex is sketchy. I would stay away from both of those at all costs. I will never put my information on Bitfinex. We talked about how Brock Pierce is really behind. Anything he seems to have touched is not good. So I would stay away from that. There are plenty other options for stablecoins if you want to use a stablecoin. TrueUSD is one that a lot of people like. I know Circle's coming out with one. There will be some decent stablecoins on the market, I believe, over the next year. And what I would like to see is people diversify into different stablecoins instead of putting all of your eggs in one basket. Because if something happened and that were to fall apart, you would lose basically everything. So make sure you guys are being smart where you're putting your money, how you're tethering. Tethering has become like a verb in the crypto community that doesn't necessarily mean just to tether, but make sure you're using a stable coin that is reputable, because that is a good way to get wrecked. And we all know we don't need one extra way to get wrecked in this market. So everybody, thanks so much for watching. Once again, big shout out to everybody, to the Bit Squad, everybody that's been liking, subscribing, sharing, everything. We appreciate you so much. Our community is the best. We are really building something special here, and just big shout out to all you guys. So everybody, thanks again for watching. Until next time, BitBoy out.